Hi class, this video is a brief review of week 5. We're just going to take a look at the syllabus and just go step by step, but taking a close look at the final essay. So the objectives for this week are being able to compare the characteristics of prophetic and apocalyptic literature, distinguish common themes contained throughout biblical literature, differentiate viewpoints regarding the book of Revelation, and identify the use of imagery in visionary literature. So here we're focusing on the end times, including prophetic and apocalyptic literature and their differences, and specifically on the book of Revelation, which I think is particularly important because Revelation is probably the most misunderstood book in the Bible. So hopefully some of the reading and videos and their discussions will help you dive deeper into that book. So the readings, as usual, have you diving into Carver's text as well as the introductions found in the New Oxford Annotated Bible, as well as some specific chapters from Isaiah and Revelation. Check out these videos on YouTube from the Bible Project, both focusing on Revelation. Then your discussion questions, again, focusing on prophecy and trying to apply that to contemporary society. So how does prophecy in the book of Revelation apply to today? And then finally, a discussion question focusing on what you've learned throughout this course. This question reads, how has your perspective of the Bible changed through completing this course? What effect does this have on your belief system? Here I'm not really looking for people to say, oh, I completely understand the Bible differently now and I don't believe it, or I do believe it. I'm really just hoping to see how your thoughts have developed over this course, maybe your favorite things that you've learned or most impactful things that you've come across. So just talk about where you've come from the beginning to the end of this course. Then the Bible themes essay. This is a larger essay than your previous ones. This is going to need to be 3 to 5 pages. And you're going to do the following things. So first, you should identify a theme that interests you and is found in the book of Revelation, as well as other books from a different literary genre. So you might say something like, the oppression of the poor is a topic that is interesting to me. It's found in this section of the book of Revelation. It is also found in the Gospel of Matthew. And so you'll need to find specific passages that two different books, Revelation and at least one other book, are talking about one theme. So you might talk about taking care of the oppressed. You might talk about serving Jesus. You might talk about loving others. Or you might talk about really any theme that you find interesting. But do try to focus on social issues. Not a theme such as angels or hell or something like that, but really social issues, because that will help you do bullet point number 2. So apply the biblical interpretation of the theme you selected to a modern societal issue. So if the theme is the oppression of the poor, and you say that is found in Revelation as well as Matthew, then you're going to say, well, I'm really interested in the homeless problem within Portland or within my hometown, and these are how the themes from the Bible speak to the issue of homelessness. Then you're going to build on that by developing an action plan you could realistically undertake to foster change. So in response to the homeless issue, and in response to these two, the book of Revelation and the passage in Matthew that speaks about the oppression of the poor, you may say something like, I'm going to start volunteering at a food bank once a month. And this is the organization that I'm going to volunteer at. You might get more creative than that and come up with something that is new, something that you've never done or never heard of, or maybe that's not even out there yet. New ideas are great, but it really needs to be practical, something that you could do with your resources, with the time that you have within your world, something that is realistic. So this should be in response to your application of the biblical interpretation of your selected theme in this modern issue. So you're going to connect the action plan, the practical steps you can do to impact change. You're going to connect it to the modern theme as well as to the two books that you selected, Revelation and at least one other book. Then, and finally, you will predict a long-lasting effect on society resulting from implementation of your plan and suggest an image that would reflect that change. All right, so here you're just going to talk about what you plan to do and how that can impact things long term. What change could you do in society? What steps could you take to impact change connected to the issue you have discussed in your essay? And then predict long term how that work might impact, whether it's an individual or a group of people or society as a whole. How could your work impact our society in the long term? Don't worry about this last part and suggest an image that would reflect that change. Don't worry about that. Just scratch that off. All right, so a 3 to 5 page essay reflecting on a social justice issue such as poverty or food shortage, or you may focus on some political issue or social justice issues like homosexuality or race. Really, anything that you believe is a societal problem that you want to dive into is open, as long as you believe the book of Revelation speaks into it, as well as one other book. All right. Well, if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email. I look forward to reading your final essays. Thanks.